think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
So we've seen inflation picking up. We've seen numbers, the CPI starting to reflect some degree of inflation here in the U.S. I'm not sure how things are over in Singapore, but how do you think this plays out? From when I was watching, I think I actually watched your interview with George Gammon, and he asked you about inflation in the 70s. Do you see any similarities or things that you're kind of looking out for in regards to inflation? I mean, obviously you're in a different country, but how do you see this playing out for people in the U.S.?
Well, it's going to wind up the same way everywhere. Prices are already starting to go up. It doesn't matter whether it's entertainment or education or go to the dentist, anything, prices are going up. Food, go to a restaurant, go to the supermarket, and you will see prices are going up. That will continue. They won't go up every day, every week. There will be times when things calm down. But when you have so much money printing, as we've had recently, it has always led to higher inflation. Maybe it won't this time. In Washington, they say, don't worry, we have things under control. If you believe them, you won't worry, and you won't worry about inflation or protecting yourself. I continue to protect myself from inflation.
Yeah, I've seen kind of doing some research on inflation and how they fought it in the 80s when Paul Volcker raised interest rates. Back then, they didn't have as much debt. So how does raising the interest rates affect how much level of debt we have now? Because it seems like, we're getting stimulus after stimulus. We're getting more infrastructure packages trying to pass and things like that. And so the debt seems like it's skyrocketing. We've seen the Fed's balance sheet go up. Do the Fed have any tools? I mean, I don't know if they can raise rates or what. What's kind of your take on that?
Well, America is the largest debtor nation in world history. No nation has ever been this deep in debt. And if or when interest rates go higher, many people are going to go. I mean, Connecticut is bankrupt. Illinois is bankrupt. Many places are actually bankrupt now. And when interest rates go higher, it's going to put them out of business. I don't like saying any of this, Daryl. I'm an American like you, but I have to face facts. And the U.S. government, when interest rates go higher, its interest rate is going to absolutely go through the roof. And it's going to affect all of us, whether we're homeowners or whatever we are. We buy a car, anything, it's going to have an effect on us. The way it has always worked is it starts slow, and some people start to notice it, but others don't. But they think it's temporary. And the government always says, don't worry, it's temporary. We have things under, but eventually, what happened in the 70s, you mentioned Paul Volcker, he was the head of the central bank. It was really serious everywhere, and especially in the US. And for whatever reason, Jimmy Carter, who was the president at the time, said to Paul Volcker, you do whatever you have to do. I will be behind you. I will protect you. You do whatever you have to do. Now, Volcker knew what he had to do. Interest rates were to over 20%. That's not a typo. Volcker took interest rates higher and higher and higher. And of course, it crushed the economy. But when the economy was crushed, the price of everything, oil, copper, everything, the prices came down, and we didn't have inflation for a while again.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
definitely.
One thing, though, right now, we don't have anybody. I don't know if Jimmy Carter was smart, but he was smart enough to say to Volcker, you do whatever you have to do. And Volcker knew what he had to do. Now, Biden is certainly not that smart. The head of the central bank in America is certainly not as smart as Paul Volcker was. So who knows what these guys will do? They're still telling us, don't worry, it's not happening.
Yeah. I think it was Milton Friedman said nothing's more permanent than a temporary government program.